Hi, and thank you for joining me here. I'm going to read my article published on Substack, What is an NFT? Introduction, part one of a three-part series all about NFTs. My name is Drew Wolin. Intro. Hi, and welcome. You're here because you want to learn more or be involved in the discussion about NFTs, or you just like and support me. Either way, I'm glad you're here. This is part of a series of 3 articles in which we will dive into NFTs. 1. General. Surface level overview on all things NFT. And an invitation for you to stay here a while through the series. 2. Technical. Focusing on the tech which makes NFTs possible. 3. Practical. How you and everyone can engage with NFTs, including creating your very own. Let me start at the end by stating as simply and succinctly as I can what NFTs are and why they have value. NFTs allow us to make digital items like pictures, videos, illustrations, and so on unique. NFTs allow us to make digital items ownable and to assign ownership. NFTs allow us to verify authenticity of digital items. What was previously not as simple, that NFTs make much more robust, buying, selling, and/or trading digital assets. The blockchain enables this ownership layer of the internet. NFTs are essentially the result of when digital items are assigned to the blockchain, thereby making them ownable, owned, unique, authentic, and therefore buyable, sellable, and tradable. Even if there are many copies that look just like an NFT, there is still only one of that exact NFT. Through the rest of this article, I aim to help make these ideas more concrete or tangible. Perhaps once finishing the article, revisit the above bullet points and give some examples for each. But first, a thought exercise. Why are you interested in NFTs? No doubt you've been made aware of the hype surrounding them, but perhaps you're interested because, depending on where you look, annual global NFT revenue is already somewhere between 1 to 10 billion US dollars. If that higher estimate is correct, this industry is already on par with mature and mainstream businesses such as the major American sports leagues, NBA, NFL, and MLB. Regardless of what the exact revenue figures are, there is no denying that there has been explosive growth in this space. Maybe you're also excited about an innovative, fascinating new technology. I know I am. Let's get into it. First, define NFT. NFT, or non-fungible token. That's what it stands for. Breaking the acronym down further. Here are screenshots and definitions for the words of which the acronym is comprised. Non, or not. Fungible. Able to replace or be replaced by another identical item. So, in my words, replaceable or not unique. Token. A voucher that can be exchanged for goods or services, typically one given as a gift or offered as part of an offer. In my words, like the kinds of things you get to play games at an arcade. Based on these screenshots, an NFT is a unique token, a voucher that cannot be replaced but can be exchanged, an example for money or other things. Why the blockchain overlords chose the word fungible could be the topic of debate. I had never used that word before. Have you? But the word now has its rightful time in the spotlight. Alas, we have pieced together the acronym, but there's more work to be done. Making the concept tangible with examples. In practice, Non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, are unique, ownable digital assets. Consider in the physical world, uniqueness and ownership or ownability are fairly intuitive. They are mostly clearly defined, but are they in the digital world? Let's go through some well-known examples. Example 1, houses. Houses are widely regarded as ownable. They are physical. Please read carefully through this illustration. Here is a house. Here is a house and its owner. The owner says, "I own this house." Here is a community of houses. All the houses look the same. That house looks like mine, so it must also belong to me. We know that is false. Contracts are made to assign ownership. Even though all houses look the same, ownership of one does not equal ownership of all. And here we have two identical looking houses aside where they physically lie on the land and the ownership rights. Above we have a house, and all the houses in this community look the same. But ownership of one does not mean ownership of all same-looking houses, does it? Again, I'm sure this is intuitive to you. From communities of suburban McMansions to urban apartment buildings, even if every single space looks identical, each is still considered unique, if for no other reason than because of where it exists physically and its ownership rights. Because you own one does not mean you own all same-looking things. We know this. And the same concept applies to digital items on the blockchain. The blockchain can give a digital item, like an image or short video, a unique space to exist, similar to a property for the house to be built on, or a canvas to be painted. And it handles ownership rights all in one. Even where infinite copies of a digital item can look the same, the blockchain and the use of NFTs can make them ownable and decidedly not the same. The blockchain allows us to apply nearly the same concept from these houses in the physical space to the digital space. Example 2, an autographed basketball. There's a certain crowd of people that seem to enjoy Twitter that will screenshot an NFT and say that they now own it and think that delegitimizes the entire value of NFTs. Hopefully, it is clear already this is wrong. When an NFT is copied and spread around, this actually, if anything, just helps market it. Here is an example of a physical world analogy. Consider a basketball autographed by Michael Jordan. It is valuable. Now consider if I, Drew, sign Michael Jordan's name onto a basketball. Do I have anything but a scuffed up ball? It is not authentic. That is true even if I wrote the signature perfectly. Since I wrote it and not Michael, it is not actually something that has value, even though it looks like something that has value. Its lack of authenticity makes it worthless, even though we drew the same thing. Carry this concept to the digital space. Pre-blockchain, there was not a widely agreed on way to designate authenticity, uniqueness, ownership of digital items. To take from the housing example again, the digital property for it to exist on had not yet been created. Pre-blockchain, to take from the housing example, it was like the houses were just kind of floating in outer space and could not be purchased. Digital items existed, but there wasn't any mechanism that made them fit for a marketplace. With the blockchain, it's like the houses landed on their respective properties and could now be purchased and used. Digital items now have a home that enables them to participate in transaction. The blockchain solved that. Pre-blockchain, it would be hard to define the difference between one digital thing and all other copies of it. But using the blockchain, we can differentiate one digital thing, an example, a picture, and all other identical looking digital things, an example, screenshots of that picture. And that is what the NFT is, the designation of the digital thing as unique and ownable. So, a message to the Twitter NFT doubters. Feel free to make all the copies of the NFTs that you like. Spread them around as you wish. It would be akin to me sitting at home, signing Michael Jordan's name onto basketballs. It is verifiably not authentic. You would possibly be helping to spread the word about the NFTs, depending on what you choose to do with those screenshots. But only the owner would hold the authentic, valuable item. Example 3, trademarks. With NFTs, this isn't the first time we've encountered the concept of owning non-physical things. If ownership of an infinitely replicable digital thing seems abstract to you, consider. Logos and phrases are essentially concepts, and they indeed are ownable. An example via trademark. In fact, they have been for years. You better be careful when considering using a piece of fruit as a logo for a children's nutrition service, because Apple owns that concept of a design already. Here's a picture of a pear with a bite taken out of it, and I caption it, "I hope I don't get in trouble for this." If you have a long streak of success in sports, say 3 years, think twice about the term you use to refer to it, because Basketball Hall of Famer Pat Riley may already own that phrase you have in mind, as he does the term three-peat. Own a phrase? Own a concept? Yes, and frankly, NFTs are an obvious extension of that. I'd like to caveat this with a note that trademarks are not typically seen as tradable and sellable, which are key components of NFTs. I hope it is a helpful example nonetheless, as one long-standing example of ownership of the non-physical. Examples summary. We humans have thousands of years practice with ownership of physical items, and even some experience with ownership of concepts. While some in this audience may still reject the notion of land ownership, it is a generally accepted principle, likely for good reason. Digital ownership is new, and NFTs are one of the first, if not the first, attempts to add this functionality of assigning uniqueness and ownability, and therefore allowing for buying, selling, trading to the digital space. My goals with this written piece. Why am I writing this series? I aim to build a community around NFT and digital asset innovation and markets. Also, I intend to position myself as an authority and someone to listen to in this space. My intended audience, exactly what I stated in the opening paragraph. Those looking to learn more and or be involved in the discussion about NFTs, but also those who don't currently understand them, whether you are self-identified or particularly anyone who might mock them, particularly if you've screenshot an NFT and said, "Hey, look, I now own this." This is for you. If you enjoyed this, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Output of content like this will be directly tied to the attention it is receiving and support I'm getting. What's next? This is a series. Part 2 will be What is an NFT? Technical. That is coming between December 7th and 14th, 2021. And part 3, What is an NFT? Practical, coming between January 15th and January 25th, 2022. Thank you for your time. I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below questions, thoughts, and so on. While this should be viewed as an authoritative piece for what is included, none of this should be viewed as final nor comprehensive. An example for all the things that I left out. There is a lot to say, and I'd welcome more thoughts. Until part 2.